Okay, hello, Frederic. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for agreeing to share your experience with me as being a student here in the UK and
My pleasure.
everything you've been through. Wow, I have so much to ask you. Where should I start? So, if you can just tell a little bit about yourself.
Well, okay, good. So my name is Frederic Brodard. I'm a Swiss actor. So I'm from Switzerland, and I studied drama in Paris when I was 23 years old. So back in 2007 until 2009, and then my first job was Les Mis in Switzerland, and I had a 10-year career in France, Switzerland. I lived in Morocco. So anyway, like career-wise, it was quite nice. So I had quite a good jobs, and then I entered a phase of doubts, like a lot of artists do, and I wanted to improve, to discover a different country, and I just needed to. I needed to feel like I was allowed to be in this industry. It's like a stamp of something, and for that, in my opinion, coming to the UK and studying musical theatre at GSA was on my path, and I'm glad I did. So that's who I am career-wise, and now I'm back in Switzerland. I stayed in London one more year after I finished my master's degree. I worked as a usher at the Prince of Wales Theatre. I knew it would be like that. I found an agent, and I started auditioning for shows, and my agent wanted me to do cruises, but I didn't want to because I've done such like this kind of jobs in my 10 years career in the French speaking world. So I wanted something different that didn't come. And then suddenly I had, Switzerland was calling me back. I had so many wonderful opportunities that I was not taking because I really wanted to make it in London. And then maybe my age, I was the oldest of my class. I was 30 years old when I started the program. 31. Yeah, I know.
No, I'm kidding because I was the oldest, but I was 35 when I started.
No, it's just yeah. And the rest of my class was really like just young people. They were like between like 20 years old
Oh
to
my God, it's so hard. Yeah, the same.
25 maybe, and I was really like there was a huge gap with me being 30. But so anyway, to make it short, what I came to London, and suddenly it didn't make sense for me to stay. I had to go back, and ever since I came back, my career has been booming here. And I think it's also because I learned what my strengths were in London. That's really what I learned. I didn't. Anyway, sorry, I'm just
No,
talking
no,
too much.
it's it's it, it, it's
Go
great,
back to your
Frederic.
go back to your questions.
It's great. Okay, so what are the languages you speak?
I speak French. That's my mother language, mother tongue. Then I've learned German when I was 16 years old for a year. I lived in Zurich. I didn't practice much, so now I can speak German, but I need some more practice. I can speak Italian, quite good, but also not like very fluently. And I could speak English, but because I used to live in Paris for 7 years, and there I found American fellows. I mean, fellows. I'm not American, but I found people who loved musical theater and who were from America. So I started really speaking like much more
Nice.
English. And then I came to London, and I took this weird accent that here people are like, "You're so British," and when I'm in England, people say, "Oh, you're so French." Anyway, I've got this bastard weird accent in between.
Amazing.
And but English was difficult when I arrived because I thought I was better than I actually was.
Oh, okay. So let's go to the next question about languages. So regarding the English language, it's coming from mainly speaking French. How hard was it?
Well, I'm quite good in languages, so it was. I was fluent, if I can say, so I could understand everything. But the big thing that I didn't expect to find there was the accents. I didn't think about it. I knew there was this British accent, but I didn't think that I had to accustom my brain to it. I thought everything was really fast, and there were quite a few northern Brits in my class, so it was just the adaptation to all of that was really difficult. And the second thing I discovered is that I lacked vocabulary, and the thing I'm still struggling with is the fucking stresses. The stresses, which we don't have in French. We have some kind of music in the phrases we have, but we don't have the stresses. And at school, they focus on everything else but that, because that's the last thing you need. But as an actor, you need to understand, you need to be able to, vocabulary, not vocabulary. No, but that, it seems it was not automatic for me, and it was a big, and I'm still struggling with some work. But yeah, no, also the voice work we did at GSA really helped me with that.
Nice.
With Chris Palmer. Did you have her?
Yeah. Have you been studying musical theater in Paris? When you say you did drama 3 years, was it also musical theater, or was it like straight acting?
So I started doing straight acting. That was the school. But then there was an option in the school that was about musical theater. It was more about dancing, to be honest. But then I could always sing. When I was a kid, I would sing in, kids' choirs and stuff. So when I arrived there, I started learning the routines and learning my skills in dance. But as soon as they had a show to produce, they were looking for people who could sing. And that's when, like, from the 1 week after I started the dance class, I already had a role in the Spamlet version they were doing. So I jumped into this, and I realized that expressing myself through song was so much more powerful for me as an actor than through a normal scene. So I was like, oh, there's something to look at here. I feel much more free in this tight music that I'm given. Amazing. That's weird. Amazing. So and then I could adapt my schedules, and I did much more of this. So I became one of the most greedy students, in learning. And then I met these American people who had it's called American Musical Theater Live Paris, and they do master classes and stuff. So I had people from Broadway come to Paris, and you can be taught by them. So I did that on the side, and then with a few singing classes, I was lucky enough to be taken in Mies straight away.
Amazing.
So I started a bit like, whoa, okay, musical theater. And then I did Chicago, I did Rock of Ages, I did the last 5 years, and I improved on the job.
Amazing.
And that's why I needed a stamp. I needed a musical theater stamp to say, it's not just random. I actually have skills, and I'm good at it, and that's why I came to run.
Wow, okay. Would you say when coming, you're primarily a singer, a dancer, an actor? What would you say your strength when you came to GSA?
An actor.
An actor.
Honestly.
Firstly, acting.
Firstly, that's what I thought. And then that's true, because that's how I got all the parts I got in my career, and also at GSA. Everything I got was because of my acting first,
Amazing.
because I'm like, telling a story for me is like, that's why I love musical theater, because telling the story is first, and then you have to sing, and then but you're telling a story. So I think everyone's an actor first. I don't like this, in Germany, they say you are a musical theater Darsteller, which means basically you're a performer of musical theater. And I think it's so unfair for these people, because they're actors, but also they can. So anyway, that's what I thought I was. And I discovered after GSA that I was généraliste in French, which means I can touch a bit of everything. And that's my strength. I'm not just this wonderful actor. I'm a good actor, but I'm also a good singer and a good, and that's what gives me jobs.
Amazing.
I can see my actors friends from Paris some of them are brilliant, and I couldn't dream of being as good as they are, but they're not working because they don't have extra skills,
Very nice.
That was the answer to your question.
Yes. Very nice. Amazing. How did you find the cultural difference between, coming as Swiss or, from Paris as a French to the UK culture? I found it shocking as an Israeli. It was like the farthest possible from where I come from.
Really? Okay. Oh, that's so interesting.
And if you add the age difference, I was like an alien.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was not that shocked, because I had toured the UK before. Like 5 years earlier, I did a tour with a panto for 4 months. So I discovered the UK that way, and the people a bit. Yeah, there's a cultural difference, definitely. This weird proximity you can have with some people, but it seemed superficial for me. And I didn't know if it was me not committing to the relationships, or if it was, I'm talking about people from the British Islands, or if it was them who were being a bit superficial. I don't mean in a bad way, but in the way that there's something that they still have, and
yeah.
you.
You're here, I'm here, and there's a wall.
Yeah. But we're still friendly, but there's something really cold about it.
Yeah.
In Switzerland, we are quite cold in a way. There's this thing of being quite cautious first, usually, and then when you commit, it's a strong, committed relationship. And that's what I'm used to. In France, it was different. I lived in Morocco, it was different. So I find it very interesting. But at the end of the year, I have to say that the person I connected with the most was a Belgian girl, whose mother is French and father is is Dutch. So she was this mixture of my culture and another European culture from the continent. And I'm wondering if it was just personality, or if also we could just relate to each other because of the culture that we share. I don't really know, but I still have friends who are from there, and I have to say they're lovely, and now we have a great relationship. But at the start, it was a bit odd, understanding the humor also. Yeah, really, because it's a thing. We know it's a thing, about Brits, but until you've practiced it, and yeah, I found it quite difficult sometimes, especially at the beginning of the year, to find anything to respond or to say back or to get in the game. I was a bit like, yeah, Oh, that was a joke. Okay, good. Well, have a good
Yeah,
day.
yeah. It took
So
me
it
a
was a
year.
talk. Yeah. Okay.
You did 1 year MA, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
That was so
Cool.
quick.
It is very quick. That's why I came to do 2 years, the MFA.
The program you did, we was not existing when I was.
Yeah, it's relatively new. I know.
It
I
was
know.
the year after they started it.
Cool. And you finished GSA and you could stay 1 more year. That were the rules back then. Because nowadays, when you finish your year, you have about 3 months until your visa expires. Yeah.
No way. Oh no, it was before Brexit. And as a Swiss citizen, we have, even though we're not in the European Union, Switzerland, we have connections with the UK, so we're considered as Europeans, basically. So I could just go and have a job and not tell anyone. It was just normal. So I was back in those days where.
So you could stay here and work without any visa problems as a citizen of Switzerland.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Just like in the rest of the Schengen community, you know.
Oh my God, that's very helpful to have. I have to work on a visa. Okay, which I am now, by the way. Okay, and you stayed in London and started auditioning. How was that for you as a foreigner? How was that experience?
Well, it was just finding an agent was difficult. You know, you have this promise.
It didn't happen in GSA?
Right away. No, it happened during the summer. We created a show, we devised a show that was quite nice, and we could perform it as a workshop at the other palace in London. So we did that, and I did a video that was very well received by the agents because it was really funny and awkward and just unique. So I got a few answers. So I had 5 meetings, but I had to do it all by myself. And I thought that paying such a big school, I would have an agent at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost, like, just a few of us, just 2 or 3 got the agent while being at GSA. So it was a big, like, people were furious and angry because we all had been sold this by Julian. Yeah. Well,
yeah, okay, yeah.
You know, he has good sides. He does. I think he's quite good at making a connection with the people from the industry. He's not bad at that, I think. But there's like he's selling his school, and I got to understand that during the year. I didn't know it was such a big competition between the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really felt, and we all did in the class, felt like we were being used by a system that didn't give us what it promised. So yeah, it was a bit towards the end. But then I found my agent through that workshop we did.
Amazing.
So in a way, because of GSA, of course. But it was not the school who found it. It's because I just moved my butt.
Yeah.
I moved my ass.
Which is something you have to get accustomed to if you want to get ahead in something.
Yeah, it's true. And I knew that from my previous experiences in acting. So it was not difficult for me to say, okay, look, it didn't work. I'm going to do something. And now I'm directing much more than I used to. So I know that if I have ideas and stuff, it's fine. But it's just, we felt like we were lied to in a way, or just, sold something easy. That this school would really help us when it didn't really.
Interesting. Okay.
So
thank you for sharing that.
To go back
it's okay. Who was the head of the MA? Julian?
No, it was Andrew.
Oh, Andrew was the head of the MA. Okay.
He did just 1 year.
Andrew. And Julian was head of musical theater.
Yeah. I don't think Andrew liked it, to be honest. Didn't like doing that. I don't think he was not very much involved with us. So we really felt from all sides just left alone, which was they felt like they give all the attention to the BAs and none to the MAs. So that was frustrating, and we pay so much.
This is like, something I can say my 1 year program, the MA, we felt the same. Although it was, you did it when, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
16, 17. Yeah.
So I'm graduating now. Yeah, 4 years, 5 years. Okay, interesting. So when you start auditioning in England, in London, your goal was to start building yourself here in the UK as a musical theater performer and actor? Okay.
Yeah.
And we're back. Hello.
So I was saying that I wanted to try in London to just see if it was even possible, because I had these teenager dream that I could make it in Hollywood or in London, and film and stage and everything. And so I think I still had this dream in this part of me. So I was like, let's just try it. And then because I really like the quality of what I could see on stage in London.
Oh yeah.
And that's something I want in my work. As an actor, I want to work with people who actually know what they're doing. And as a director, I want to create the atmosphere of work, a serious one, chilled and happy and nice and positive and benevolent, but very serious and very efficient. And I've never seen a country that much efficient in the way they do things. I never had the opportunity to work with people who were that precise, and
I agree so much.
Yeah. It's, in France, it's all a bit mixed, unless you're at the high, on the like national stage, then they have all the jobs and the stage manager and blah, blah, blah. But in other troops that I joined, it was just people didn't have the skills, and they never learned these skills of putting on a show in a good way. They just seemed to learn things like that. And I hate that. I'm very structured, and I'm not saying it's not good, because some people find art and creation through that thing. I don't. I love to dream, and then I love to have all the tools to create the best version of the dream I had.
Nice.
I think they do that brilliantly in the UK, in all sorts of fields.
Definitely.
Writing. Anyway, so that's why I wanted to start. And then I started auditioning, and the reality striked back when I saw that, which is good already. I got a cruise, I got a workshop for a new musical. That's all basically in a year. But compared to my other friends, most of them didn't get anything, and most of us got cruises. I didn't want to do that. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just the kind of work that I've done.
Yeah.
As I said,
you wanted something more artistic.
I want to create shows. I want to tell stories. I don't want to entertain people by singing old tunes.
Yeah. It's a whole different experience. Yeah. I understand exactly what you mean, Frederic. I share your feeling.
So I tried to communicate that to my agent. He understood, but he was in a corner, put in a corner, because I could play the French guy, but they don't hire French people usually to play the French people. They go to Paris if they have to find actors to do French things. So you should go to Paris, but still be able to speak English. If you're in England, if they're looking for French people in England, usually they use English people who can master the French accent. That's the experience I have. So I was like, okay, so if there's not the French guy, if I cannot do that, I need to work on my accent. Working on my accent and mastering it with the skills I have would take me maybe 5 years, like working my ass off, because I'm good at learning languages, but I noticed that compared to a few Swiss friends or French friends I have who really mastered the British English very good and very quickly, I don't have these skills. I don't hear it. So anyway, it would have been a lot of work. And I was like, look, I'm 31 years old. I feel like anything I can get in London is something I have done or I don't want to do because I have another voice. And because I'm older, I know now the voice I have. So it didn't make sense. After a year, I was like, I'm wasting my time here. I could direct Into the Woods Sweeney Todd's, which I did, and I'm doing next year in big theaters with a big budget and with wonderful artists. There's just coming back to Switzerland. There's space for me, and not a lot of people have my skills. So the competition is so. There's less competition, and it's so agreeable. It is.
Amazing.
It's not as prestigious as succeeding in London, but I'm done with this. I think I'm over it. You know, it
doesn't really matter.
Not anymore. When I was 25, yes, it was like, if I succeed in Switzerland, it's nothing. It's shit. Now I'm like, if I can put on a show and do it my way and have a voice and change the world a bit with my art, that's what matters. And it's not a consolation prize. I thought it was for a bit. I was like, I gave up. And then I was like, look, no, I listened to what I want. I listened to what I wanted and to who I am now, instead of being like stuck with the unresolved things from the past. If you get what I mean.
Amazing. Yes, I do.
Like
And thank you for being so honest. Amazing.
I'm talking so much.
No, you're not. You're open and sincere, which I love. It's amazing.
Because I drink beer. No, that's my first one. Sorry, that's not professional for a master's degree. I'm sorry, teachers who are making a video.
How did you came across to directing when you came back to Switzerland? So you came back, you said, okay, now I have the English, it's better, my singing is better, my dancing is better, my musical theater overall is better, my acting maybe is a bit better as well. And then you came to Switzerland and started auditioning. Like, what made you think, I think I should start directing?
Back when I lived in Paris, I directed already. That was I directed a Sister Act version in Paris. It was always musical theater. I loved it. I adapted the film before the musical existed. So it was, it seemed a perfect project to do. Anyway, I directed shows during my 10 years of career before I came to GSA. Mostly shows that, the director had a nervous breakdown, or this director didn't like the text, so gave up 3 weeks before starting rehearsals. And I would end up, because people knew I kind of did something in directing, I would end up doing these projects, and I learned so much. And I saw that I was so passionate when I was directing, and I feel like as an actor, right now I'm rehearsing for a comedy show, which is something I never did before. So that's what I'm doing these days. And I'm just an actor. So this comedian be funny, even though it's not my specialty. And I love that. No responsibility apart from delivering what they give you. But I cannot do that. Just that. I have too many things to say, and directing gives me this opportunity. So it seemed logical I didn't really audition when I came back to Switzerland because I had auditioned 10 years earlier. So I had all these connections. My world was already created.
Wow.
So I just said, look, I'm back. And then it started, and like never before, I've not stopped. I didn't stop working, and now I have work until next Christmas,
Wow.
which is fantastic. But it's just my connections and the fact that just this to know who I am and what I know and what I want, and to know what I'm good at, makes me so much more confident in selling myself and saying, look, I can do that. And that's GSA. GSA gave me this. I didn't have that. I was so full of doubts before. Maybe the age also. So anyway, so now I'm directing, and I'm preparing an Into the Woods version for next year. And I did a Sweeney Todd that Julian saw with his husband. They were in Lausanne, and they saw the poster for Sweeney Todd, directed by Frederic Brodard, and they were like, "Oh, but I know what we should go." So they came to see. We did the show in French and in English, depending on the nights. The cast was bilingual, and so they saw the French version, even though they couldn't speak French, and they loved it. So
Wow.
that was such a weird coincidence. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Maybe
It's amazing.
I want to shine. No, that it was definitely a good decision for me to give up success in the UK and go back to my roots and accept where I'm from, but bringing back all the things I've learned in all the countries I've visited and the people I've met. And now I can really feel the fruits from that for the first time. And it's very gratifying. It's a good feeling.
It's very inspiring, Frederic. Thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Okay.
You said,
You're right.
yeah, it's amazing. It's very inspiring.
Okay.
You
Good.
said one of the stuff you learned that main stuff you got from GSA is understanding who you are and what you want and what you're good at.
Yeah, really.
How?
But I had the skills already because I had danced for a long time, everything. But I went back into these things and perfected it. But I didn't, I was not totally changed. I was changed inside much more. Inside the vision I had of the artist I am was different.
Amazing.
Sorry, you
Thank
had a
you
question.
so much.
I kept talking. Sorry. You had a.
No, I think you answered everything I wanted to ask you and much more. It's so nice talking to someone who is so open and sharing. It's amazing. It's very not British.
Oh, is it? Is it not? Really? Okay. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm very direct sometimes and a bit talkative.
I love it. It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I wanna say thank you with my red nose and give you a big hug through the Zoom.
I love that. Yay. So I know you don't, maybe you just want to stop do you have a next meeting?
Just a sec. I'll start the recording. Thank you so much.